Today I have the USB SIM cable for FlySky transmitters. There are certain FlySky transmitters it's compatible with. This is the FlySky i6. In my case, this is the Longing LY i6. This transmitter came with my Longing Innovation LY250 Red B FPV quadcopter. When I got to digging around, it's just nothing but a rebranded FlySky i6 or FlySky FS-i6. So I picked up this FlySky FS-i6 compatible USB simulator cable to use with FPV Freerider recharge. I've been reading online, and there seems to be some confusion on how to get it to work and just what it entails. I've had a lot of success with FPV Freerider, so this video is to help people understand how it's used. So when we open a package, and pardon me here. So with opening the package, pull out a staple to keep the cardboard in. And then the cardboard sheet has some basic information. It tells you where to download the FMS or Flying Model Simulator. Unfortunately for me, on Windows 7, the simulator does not fully install. It's missing some DLLs. I'm not about to go try search the web to find DLLs because that can be very dangerous and introduce viruses to your computer. So I can't speak directly on FMS, but I will speak directly with FPV Freerider. So in the package, we have our USB cable with a 3.5mm jack. Obviously, this end plugs into your USB port. As you can see, there's an arrow as to which way it needs to go. And then you have two adapters. You have one that looks like a very large serial cable you might see on microphones. You can see here. This one doesn't fit my particular transmitter that the cable is compatible with. Instead, I have this one. So you just plug this cable in, like so. You grab your transmitter and line up. And this is where I struggled the most the first time I went to plug in. Was getting everything to line up just right and push it in all the way. You have to make sure this cable is pushed in all the way or you won't have any connectivity. The other thing, make sure you have your batteries charged and installed in your transmitter. I tried without the batteries and I don't see power being given to the transmitter. So make sure you have your batteries in, and make sure your plug is lined up all the way and pushed in all the way. That, again, this took me a while to get it lined up and pushed in, so that could be one of the problems that people have been facing. Install the drivers for this is very simple, and I'm going to do this on a port that I've not plugged it into yet. Take your USB dongle, get it lined up properly, plug it in. Red light's flashing. On Windows 7, you see installing device driver software. As you see, it's installing, I'm sorry for the glare, it's installing PPM device driver. So we let this install. Now it says it's installed and ready for use. So I close out of that. I'll open up my FPV Freerider Recharged. Then I will turn on my transmitter while it's loading. It's loaded. So now I have to do a calibrate controller. So with calibrate controller, we put sticks in the mid-center. We click calibrate controller. Make sure, as the screen says, center all sticks. Make sure all sticks are centered. As you can see here, as the USB dongle is working, there's a red flashing light indicating data transfer. We click OK on FPV Freerider, and I do apologize for the glare. Let me see if I can fix the glare. I was trying to get enough light in this room. And we follow the instructions on the screen. We push left. Well, we don't want to move any. This is setting up yaw, so we set up yaw by pushing here. Hold it and click OK. Recenter yaw. Now we take and push throttle up and click OK. Pull throttle back down. Now we set up roll. We pull that left to make sure that it's moving. We click OK while holding it. Now we need pitch, so we push pitch forward. Like it says on screen, hold it, press OK. Now we're done. This screen on FPV Freerider is setting up your offsets and your trims initially. You want to get the two circles as close to center as possible. So what I need to do on my left, you can see, it's not exactly centered. So I just need to move my trim to get it as centered as best as possible for throttle and yaw. Again, this is for mid stick. Now over here, you can see my pitch and my roll. Looks good. And now everything's moving like it should and centering like it should. So we click OK. And now we're ready to fly. So that is how to successfully install the drivers and use the FMS simulator USB cable for FlySky transmitters. Now remember, this cable only supports certain models of the FlySky brand transmitters. More details as to what transmitters are supported can be found on RCMall via Amazon. I did pick this cable up for $9.99 from RCMall on Amazon.com. They have the direct link to the FMS simulator. Again, unfortunately, I cannot speak about using that simulator because it's not installing properly. FPV Freerider Recharge, or FPV Freerider, is a free drone racing simulator. You can pay for more tracks and quads, but it helps you learn movement. Now, what's the benefits of using your real transmitter versus a dummy transmitter that comes with, say, Real Flight? Well, with the Real Flight Interlink, my experience has been it has that cheap plastic feel. You have a ratcheting throttle by default, so you have to open it up and pull it out. Eventually, that transmitter will have issues, or the USB interface will have issues, it will break. So using your real transmitter, you get used to the spring tensions, the way the sticks move, how far to move the sticks to get what type of response in the simulator. So that's the real benefit, is just getting used to your transmitter while flying. The downside is you put a lot of wear and tear on the gimbals and your transmitter. That's could be abnormal and could cause the life of your transmitter to decrease because you're putting that extra wear and tear on. But if you want to be a serious pilot, you want to get serious in your skill set, having the familiar feel is really worth it. And not to mention that, but like the Real Flight Interlink controller, if you want to use your transmitter, well, you have to use the Interlink as a proxy to jump the cable. You have to cable your real transmitter to the Interlink to the computer, so it just adds clutter and mess, and this is just faster and cleaner. So if you have a FlySky i6 or a rebranded FlySky i6, then you can easily use this cable from RCMall on Amazon.com to use it with any of your simulators that you prefer. Again, I've tried FMS, which didn't install properly. Remote Desktop Pilot I tried. It really has some install issues, and it seems to be out of date. But for a modern one, like a modern simulator, like FPV Freerider, it works perfectly well. You just have to install the drivers and then calibrate your controller in your simulator. This, and I will caveat, this is a Windows only cable. It does not support Mac. All that's listed on the product page from RCMall on Amazon.com.